I do want to play this clip of Dylan Riola, the number one quarterback in the country who flipped from Georgia to Nebraska. This is his father talking about a certain person, speaking of ESPN, that called him when he was thinking about flipping. Let's go ahead and play this clip.
Bring up one guy's name. His name's Kirk Herbstreit. When he saw the smoke about Dylan entertaining Nebraska, he was like, called me. He said, "Dude, is this true? He got to do it. He got to do it." His affinity for Nebraska, for a guy like that to tell me and to get behind me. Look, I knew he needed to do it, but I wasn't going to sit here and say you need to go change that place or be a part of the change at that place. So when Kirk told me that, I was like, man, this is. I've had people reach out, other coaches reach out to me and say, look, the place is special. Coach Rhule's a special leader.
Here's where I'm at on this. Kirk Herbstreit can call who he wants, can tell somebody he thinks he needs to go there or whatever. I just find this very, very interesting, the way that ESPN has piled on Georgia. But let's just go back. And I want to read, a tweet or an X, whatever the hell it's called, from a buddy of mine named Graham Coffey. I just want you to follow the timeline here, because this is a one-off thing. I wouldn't even bring this up. And I've got no dog in the fight with Georgia. I'm not a Georgia fan. But let's look at this. ESPN fires David Pollack after he called Georgia college football's new standard. And we obviously know about the other stuff that went on with that. Pat McAfee told Georgia fans that they can go to hell live on ESPN in December. That same week, we find out Kirk Herbstreit called five-star quarterback Dylan Raiola's dad and tried to ease him on to flip from Georgia to Nebraska. And then ESPN hires Nick Saban in February. What's going on with ESPN in Georgia? Like, do you think there's actually some sort of... I don't think Kirby has done anything to anybody, but you keep looking at this, and I'm not trying to be, woe is Georgia. I mean, they got the nicest transformer in the lot. But at some point, I mean, damn, dog, like follow the bouncing balls here.
I mean, this feels just like a conspiracy, right?
Well,
kind of what we hit on before.
I don't think, no, because I don't think that there's one instance of
For what reason would they need to have anything against you?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. But I just listed things that actually happened in an order that culminated with Saban now ending in ESPN. I'm not saying all of that was cause and effect, but you've got the biggest people in the sport calling Georgia's commits,
and that's kind of weird. Even listening to his dad, and if you've been around, kids who sign their parents, everything. His dad said, "Well, I didn't push him in any type of way or this or that." I don't know. Because in my opinion, when you come out and say that immediately as a coach, I'm like, "Oh, so you did?"
Yeah, so you did.
So you 100%.
Like when you say, "Well, I don't mean to be disrespectful," and then you say something that's utterly disrespectful.
I don't understand and as a parent, you need to guide your kid, obviously, but it's their decision at the end of the day. And Nebraska's a great school, and Georgia's a great school, but I don't know why you would steer your son to a certain way, away from a school like Georgia. Well, who's been winning natties, been doing this. That's why I think if there's anything, people always want to go at the people on top, right? They always do. So who's been on top lately? It's been the Georgia Bulldogs. So, I mean, if anything, for Georgia, it's a compliment.
When did ESPN come for Ohio State? Like, when did ESPN come for Alabama? When did ESPN...
Well, Nick Saban's... it's Nick Saban.
Well, it's... I can say this, I mean, who else have they really come for? I just listed reasons. And again, look, I'm not sitting here trying to start a fire where there's not one. But I'm just following the bouncing balls here. I want to know what y'all think out there when you call in. Not just Georgia fans. It's just... I find that very surprising. But if it was my kid, number one, Kirk Herbstreit... Look in the Constitution. You can call who you want, say what you want, right? But even if Kirk Herbstreit called me and said, "Hey, I don't think that would be a bad idea for your son to go from Georgia to Nebraska," and you know what? Good for Nebraska. I don't think there's anything wrong with Nebraska. I mean, I've coached out there before. It's unbelievable, and the fans are nice to you. It's the weirdest reverse psychology ever. But even if Kirk Herbstreit called me and said, "Hey, man, your son may really need to think about flipping to this other school," you know what I'd say? I'd say, "Thanks, Kirk, for your input. My son's going to go where he wants to go, and 100%. We're going to make decisions as a family." I don't give a damn what Kirk Herbstreit says. I don't care what Lee Corso says. And it's not a knock on Kirk Herbstreit. I think Kirk does a great job. But I'm not letting any of that outside influence, tell me where to help my son make the.
And let's be honest, Kirk has a lot of influence.
He does have a lot of influence. He is and now he's in the NFL.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, it's an interesting thing when you look
what would ESPN have to gain?
That's all I'm at. All I'm asking. I don't
because it smells fishy. It smells fishy. I'll give you that, but I just don't know what they would have to gain by doing this.
Yeah, is it all a coincidence that it happens and just lines up like that? Maybe.
I don't know.
But look, a one-off thing, I can sit here and brush it off to the side and say, well, it is what it is. But no, we want to know what you think. Hey, YouTube, what's up? Growing like a weed. Thanks to you guys. But if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and that way we can keep producing the content that you love to laugh at, you love to think about, and you love to hang out with.